Hello and welcome to the show. Now, Tokina is one of Japan's most established lens makers with a long history in photography, but more recently they've developed an entire range of cinema lenses that have earned quite a reputation.
Yeah, they also have some interesting lens options for users of the new red Komodo and black magic cameras, which we wanted to find out a bit more about. So today's guest is Chung, who you might recognise from his former role as editor of newsshooter.com. Dan's now working with Tokina Cinema, and he's here today to talk about the just announced Vista 40mm T1.5 cinema lens, which rounds out their lineup of cinema primes and offers a slightly different perspective to the traditional 35 and 50mm.
Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's slightly odd to see you virtually like this. That's the new world order.
Absolutely, but we try our best to include everybody from all around the globe. So Dan, there are a lot of cinema prime lenses out there. What's special about these Tokina Cinema Vista lenses?
Well, number one, they are relatively affordable, certainly very affordable for the quality that they offer. They are T1.5 all the way through the current lineup. And they offer very, very minimal breathing, or virtually non-existent breathing, which if you're used to using other less expensive cinema lenses, you might be familiar with as something of a problem. And the bokeh, or the toner, or whatever you want to call it, the fashionable phrase these days, is exceptional, as you would expect from a Tokina cinema lens. So I think that they are one of the absolute best offerings out there at the moment, at any price. And then, when you actually look at the price tag, they are actually particularly affordable.
Yeah, we'll come on to the price a bit later on, but Tokina make a 35mm and a 50mm lens. Why have they introduced the 40mm focal length?
Okay, well, actually, so Tokina make an entire range of these, ranging from 18 to 135, and as you say, that includes the traditional 35 and 50. 40, which I don't have here, this is a 35, as you can clearly see labelled there. The 40mm, which is approximately the same size, maybe a tiny bit different, but same T-stop, T1.5, same very minimal breathing, same lovely bokeh. It just has a slightly more natural perspective, I think, than the standard 35 or 50s do on a full-frame camera. And as we all know, full-frame cameras like the Venice, like the Alexa LF cameras are becoming incredibly popular with DPs. And I think just having that subtle difference in perspective, which is, 5mm doesn't sound like a lot between 35 and 40, but in practice, I think what it means is you get just that little bit more natural of a look. It's very, very close to what you and I perceive with our eyes, and just having the ability to have a lens that you can put on and know that you're essentially seeing human scale vision and perspective, I think is very useful to a lot of DPs. And we made it because a lot of people requested it. It's a very requested sort of focal length by people.
So we know these Vistas are good value. That's great. And then, as well as the Vistas, I understand there are some more affordable options for cameras like the red Komodo, etc. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Yes, absolutely. So there's lenses like the 11 to 20mm zoom lens, which I think a lot of viewers may be familiar with, or they might be familiar with the previous incarnation, the 11 to 16, which was the go-to wide angle or ultra wide angle zoom for an awful lot of shooters, including myself, for a very, very long time. So first there was a stills version of the 11 to 16, and then Tokina came out with a fully cinemized version, which is available in various different mounts. That's the other thing to say. Both the Vistas and the zoom lenses, the Cine zoom lenses, are available in PL, but also EF, E mount, and MFT mount as well. So and that mount is factory changeable. We don't recommend users necessarily do it themselves, but you could in theory send it to the factory. But more importantly, it just means that you can buy the mount that matches your camera system better. Clearly, for Komodo and for the BMD 12K, the PL is the way to go. And this lens is highly affordable, extremely high quality, and as you can see, a very nice size, especially if you're trying to put your Komodo on a gimbal or a Steadicam or something like that. Nice and small and light. Clearly a bit lighter than the Vista, which I shall show you there. But there's a reason why these Vistas are larger, and that's because to achieve the optical excellence that you're getting here, the especially the breathing, you do need that nice big front element and a way to securely house it. But for a fast-ish T2.9 wide-angle zoom, the 11-20 is fantastic. And then there's a 50-135, which I don't have here, which is a sort of matching longer short telephoto to mid telephoto zoom lens, which is very popular. And then there's a 100mm macro, which is an absolutely stunning lens, to be honest. It's a T2.9. Again, it sort of has a heritage that goes back quite a way. People who tend to have this lens tend to love it. I had this long before I ever worked with Tokina, and in fact, this is actually my one. It's not even Tokina's. It's a really, really nice piece of equipment. And then the other lens, which is behind me, I'll just grab it, is this 16-28, which is a full frame lens. As I should mention, the 100mm and the 16-28 are full frame, and the 11-20 and the 50-135 are super 35 coverage, or slightly more depending what end of the focal length you're at. But the 16-28 here is a full frame lens, and that is a very, very fast T3. And again, not slightly bigger than that, but still pretty not massive if you're putting it on a cinema camera, really. And to have that versatility, to have that range from 16-28 at a not particularly expensive price, considering it's a real cinema lens, I think that's a great option to have.
So let's rewind back to the 40mm, Dan. 3 questions really. When's it shipping? What can users expect to pay for it? And where can they find out more?
Shipping date I don't have yet, but I'm anticipating that it's some point in the next few months. Obviously, we're in very strange times, so bear with us on that. But if you did order it now, we would hope that you could have it. Maybe it'd be a nice Christmas present. I can't promise. And it's $7,499 US, and available to pre-order from most or from all Tokina Cinema dealers.
Cool, thank you very
much.
much.
That fits as quite a good price for ownership as well. Are you going to be heading? We're going to be able to see this in rental companies. People are going to be able to use them anyway. Get them from rental houses.
Yeah, I think, quite a lot of rental companies already have the Vista primes, and they, will anticipate that they'll pick up the 40 to add to the set. Obviously, at that price, it's also a great owner-operator lens, and we are constantly talking to owner-operators who have gone this way, and what they're getting is a really, really nice look, you throw these terms around, Hollywood grade or whatever. This is genuinely a Hollywood grade lens. You can totally shoot a major motion picture on one of these. We've had some very serious DPs look at them. Phil Holland, who a lot of Red users know very well, uses these as his personal lenses. I think they'd be right up there on my list of lenses to look at if you are an operator with a little bit of money to spend. Appreciate these are interesting times, but actually in a way that makes this almost a more worthy option to consider. I think you're going to get assuming that we come back to some sort of normality, you're going to get your return on investment quite quickly on something like this.
I think that's the point. You could have, some people will buy the lenses that they use a lot, but if they've got rental houses that they can go to fill in the gaps when they need them, as and when, you've got a good best of both. You've got the owner operator for the favourites, and then they can fill in the gaps when they need to. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, those of you who know me well from my news shooter days, know that I come from that factual sort of background, where actually 40 is great. 40 is great, both on full frame and on Super 35 for interviews, because it just gives you that nice natural look on a full frame. And then if you go to Super 35, you get that short telephoto look. It's just a really nice lens to have, so if I had just two lenses to shoot an interview with, it'd probably be something like the 40 and the 85. I think that's a sort of very nice combination, and then maybe throw a zoom on the other end. Obviously, if you're shooting a motion picture, then please have the whole set. But I do think it's a very practical option for those people who just want to put their toe in the water with high-end lenses.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dan. Now, just before we let you go, Dan, we're an industry about people and relationships, and we've been asking all our guests to tell us something about themselves that we, or maybe even your colleagues, don't know. Now, you've been in the industry forever, so tell us something about yourself.
I did have some forewarning of this question, so I have. I think virtually nobody knows that I used to play the violin. That's and you would definitely want me to demonstrate what that actually sounds like, because it's terrible.
Right.
I fiddle.
It used
poorly,
to be okay,
so,
and you've kind of gone a bit rusty.
Yeah. I'm a very bad fiddler. Yes, absolutely.
Fair enough. That's brilliant. Well, thanks for watching today, and thanks to Dan for updating us on the Tokina lens and his violin skills. To see all our video interviews and kit reviews, then head over to KitPlus TV, which is brought to you with the support of Mediaproxy. You can find out more about them at Mediaproxy.com.